welcome back, coaches, sports fans, and athletes. Coach Michael Fields here. Again, if you want to find me on Instagram, it's up there, Coach Michael Fields. On Twitter, it's Michael K. Fields. And my email, coachmichaelfields at gmail.com. If you're watching this video, I really appreciate it. If you could, maybe like, subscribe, and share. Just help get the word out to more coaches, and coaches helping coaches, right? So this week, this series, been talking about building a sports program, high school to youth, youth up to high school perhaps. And I just wanted to kind of conclude the series here with sports program. I put that in quotes. Talk about school programs, rec programs, travel, and elite. Not a big fan of those elite select ideas of travel, but they do have their place, so I'll cover it for a minute. And it's important because the community you live in, the organization you're associated with, the governing body even perhaps, may have an influence on how this works for you. So we already talked about building relationships with coaches, players, the athletes, the parents. Talked about scaling plays, scaling calls. Also, we talked about even scaling your drills, so that you can have them at the appropriate level to build programs, and all that kind of concludes into this. When you're talking rec, I'll start with recreation leagues. Generally, those are run by a little league or a similar association, the CABA or something like that. Maybe your city parks department is running that. Might even be school affiliated in some way, shape, or form. So when I talk recreation league, that's what I mean. It's more for fun, get kids active, and it may not be building towards any high school sports career. It's just so they have a chance to be active and kind of be physically fit in some way, shape, or form, and just keep them busy, right? We like to keep kids busy with school, chores, and of course sports for some of us. Some kids may choose sports aren't it, and rec leagues are the best way to kind of figure that out. Maybe they're more into choir or theater or band or robotics or some other interesting thing to keep them busy besides sports, and that's okay too. That's all good. School programs typically are going to be grade-based, and with that, we're going to start to see that scaffolding into the high school, into the middle school, then of course the high school. And they're a little more organized usually than recreation leagues. Some rec leagues are ran really well, with playoffs and player drafts and all that. Others are pretty loose, especially the younger the kids are, and that's okay, whichever level it is. But we can always use these different vehicles to build our sports program, and we probably should be leveraging that. I'll give an example. I've seen this at a couple different places where I've lived. The rec basketball league. Those who are running the travel team or the AAU or whatever association you decide to play with for a travel type of team, they'll kind of scout the players in the rec league and identify a few and kind of invite them to tryouts. Okay, and again, with travel, we're talking usually tryouts, we're talking players being cut, players moving. If we have elite teams, kind of A teams, B teams, C teams, we have to understand how those work. Generally, the more elite something is, you're pulling kids from different schools, from different communities to play on a bigger travel team that's going to travel multi-states, maybe even national. Okay, if we are more of just a travel team to build towards our middle high school success, we're probably local within our community, and that's more that different level of travel team. Okay, maybe even connected to our school program at the same time. We're going to play school. We played middle school basketball. That ended. We started our AAU basketball. Done this with girls and boys. And again, this is to build a program. So how to build a program, and again, those relationships with coaches. Within all the guidelines and rules, I've invited high school coaches to my basketball practices, and they just come for half an hour, maybe one practice, and show a couple drills, talk a little bit of their philosophy of how they screen, how they call ball, and different things like that. This is basketball specifically right now. And then as a coach of an AAU program for young kids, still elementary age, I started to implement some of that basketball philosophy or basketball verbiage even into my coaching repertoire. So as they move up to middle school, high school, they've seen it for a couple years. They get to high school and they say, "Oh, run this back screen." They know what that back screen is. Football is hard to do travel. I've seen it done in certain ways and shapes, and that's great. And again, it's kind of using the rec or that local league to build it up to the kids that are going to be playing together. Back to basketball for a minute. With our AAU, it's typically grade based, at least everywhere I've coached in 3 different places now. And so I always made sure I was, if I was the 5th grade coach and the 4th grade, there was a 4th grade team, I'd be like, hey man, let's get your 4th grade team and let's do a little scrimmage. That way the players get to know each other, so when they get to high school and you got a group of sophomores and juniors and sophomores and freshmen, they've seen each other before and they're familiar with each other, and they're not just, oh, I'm the 5th grade team, I don't know anybody else. Same thing, softball, baseball. I've seen rec, little league, and kind of the all-stars for that, convert into travel teams and be really successful to feed a high school program. I've seen other sports, softball in particular, to where it's kind of not, attached to the little league. They'll play little league, but then they go travel with a different coach. Sometimes it's one of the little league coaches, and that works as well. So there's different ways to kind of build your program. The best way to do it is just make sure that there's communication from the youth coaches to the rec coaches to the school coaches, and everybody's kind of involved. So at the end of the day, if we are an elite team and we're trying to get them noticed for, maybe you're a high school team and it's an AAU and you got a kid who's maybe a college basketball player, you might need to draw those players from multiple locations to be a little bit more, it's more the top 2, 3 guys from a couple different schools, put them on a team, get them to mesh well, go play a big tournament where there's some scouts at it. Same with softball, same with baseball, you might need to pull that together. Some other sports, sometimes we're just building them ready to get them ready for high school. So know the differences amongst those level of travel and how that influences, a kid who's getting ready for your high school. And they might play on a travel team that's to get them ready for high school, and then maybe they choose to go play on a more select or elite team in a bigger tournament to get those notices. And, so just make sure coaches are talking, players are talking, parents are talking, it's all transparent so you can build those programs. So once again, appreciate it. Coach Michael Fields, Instagram, Coach Michael Fields at Gmail to email me, Michael K. Fields on Twitter. I appreciate talking sports. If you could like, subscribe, and share the video, I appreciate that as well. And we'll be back soon with another set of videos. Thank you.